podcast introductions where I'm like, is this recording? Are we started yet?
Yeah.
I was thinking about this earlier about how, famous people, the more famous you are on a podcast, the further you are from the microphone when it starts. Like the host is always already sitting down, and then I'm supposed to be like
in the bathroom.
Hey man, what's up? I'm just coming in. Like I just barely have enough time in my day, you know.
You're McConaughey.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, now we can start. But let me give you an intro.
Cool.
Because I gave Osla one, which I felt was good.
And you know that we have like a serious rivalry.
A beef.
Yeah.
A rivalry that rivals, I don't know. Is Tupac and Biggie still big? Is there a bigger one?
I feel like that's almost too tame, you know, for what we have going on.
Yours is more extreme.
Yeah. We'll have to think of something more dangerous.
North and South Korea?
Yeah, that's where like North and South Korea. Osla and me.
Who are you?
I'm definitely South Korea, actually.
No.
You put me in a situation where I was like, you don't want to say North Korea.
We've moved past the pleasantries of who's North Korea and who's South Korea. So, I have a very talented young man with me in my apartment. And his lovely wife, who's off camera.
She refused to do the podcast with me.
Right. Why was that?
She hates being on camera, I think. I do. I like generally, this is fine for me, but I generally also don't like being on camera. Like in the live stream situations where I can see a screen that's like, where, you know, 30 seconds later of what's happening. I don't love that. I don't like the way that feels. There's something about being able to see it. Even that some people, I think it makes them feel better, but I would rather just not know. Just wing it and hope it turns out okay.
Do you have the same problem with your voice? Like hearing your voice?
Not really. Like right now, my voice is pretty, like I have it pretty loud in my headphones. And I think a lot of people that makes them really uncomfortable. I'm pretty good with that. Like with my hearing my own self talk or hearing myself sing on recording, but being able to see it is another, I don't know. That's the dimension where I get uncomfortable.
The dimension.
That's
the uncomfortable dimension.
Sonically, like if you could never see me, I would probably be pretty confident. But once I have to get up, especially like public speaking is something I can't.
Do you find yourself having to public speak a lot?
I even like between songs on tour, I don't love that. Like Henry and Brad would probably tell you that's maybe my thing I hate the most is like, actually I told Henry several times on tour from Osla that they're on stage, his banter is like my favorite. Henry's like between songs
Henry
talking.
And I mean this with peace and love, is the ultimate like soft boy.
Absolutely. But in the best way.
In the best way.
Possible.
Not
he's all man, but he's
but soft boy as well.
I love him so much. Like if I could just tour with them all the time, I definitely would. Like probably the worst thing about the pandemic was not being able to go back on the road with them this year, because last year was so much fun. It was awesome.
How much did y'all tour last year?
I think we did 12 shows on we made it tour, 11 or 12 shows, Sid, and they were mostly in the Southeast and Tennessee and Florida and Alabama. I think that's it, right? It was really fun, and it was just me and those two guys most of the time in a van, sometimes Sydney and Kat, Brad's girlfriend Kat, and it was just the best. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
And just that setup, we were on that tour, Bradley and I were doing the Airbnb thing.
Yes.
Opening the shows. And so to the progression of like Airbnb doing the totally all the way down, then Osla kind of adding in some like moving parts and drum machines and stuff. And then my set was kind of like a little bit more energy.
It's a good flow.
It was a nice ramp up. It was really fun to do.
Yeah. I don't enjoy when there's a big gap in between bands, like stylistically on a show.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people realize that that's important when they're setting up a show.
Yeah.
They're like
the audiences need to be able to watch more than just the one band they came to see.
Right. And people who are coming to see a a rap group or a punk group necessarily don't want to see the other group. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, I'm sure you guys have been in that situation a lot, because, and the same with when I was touring with or playing shows with Regenerates, like when you have something kind of specific like that, you'll end up in a lot of shows where it's like, you guys play punk music, you should play with these metal bands that are playing.
Yes.
They have distorted guitars also.
Right. Yeah. Playing with a metal show, also very weird.
Yeah. I feel like we did that a little bit as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, like do they have a lot of metal shows still? I don't mean to sound ignorant of the scene.
You don't have your ear to the street?
I don't. Growing up, you know that I played a lot, like quite a bit of metal music when I was younger.
Yeah.
Like 11 to 14, I was so hardcore, really into. I was looking at it today, but I have this PV half stack that.
Oh shit!
Solid state PV half stack that was just, I'm sure, sounded so bad, but it was so much fun.
Crank that thing.
Yeah.
You didn't care about tone?
No, that wasn't a word that I was familiar with.
Volume.
Yeah, exactly. Distortion and not distortion were my two sounds. It was like as clean as it could be, and then just like the scooped mids, like ear-piercing Pantera, like that sound was the guitar
faucet.
Sound. Exactly.
You mic'd a water faucet.
Exactly.
I don't think I finished my intro. I think you cut me off.
I bumped in too soon.
Yeah.
What did you miss? The intro.
I had a good intro.
Oh no.
It might have been the best intro.
Out of all your episodes?
So many episodes have been done so far. So many episodes. No. So I'm more familiar with your current body of work. And so my intro, I was going to be like a very talented young man with me in my apartment.
Right.
Some have called him the Alabaster Al Green. The Blanco BB King.
Okay.
This one I wasn't too proud of, but the Dandruff D'Angelo. Just because Dandruff is white.
No, I like that one a lot, actually.
And
that might be my favorite one. I've been listening to so much D'Angelo. That's actually super weird.
Then anyway. The no Pigment Prince. That was the last one.
Nice.
And then Brady Turner.
Thank
you, ladies and
man.
gentlemen.
That's have you listened to a lot of D'Angelo?
I've listened to Untitled.
Oh man, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I just remember as a kid seeing the video.
Yeah.
You know the video where he's just naked.
No, I've never seen it.
It's just one shot.
Just D'Angelo full
just
frontal.
Oiled up. Not full frontal.
Oh, okay.
But you see like...
He wasn't that edgy about it.
You see, I think the pubic mound.
Oh, okay.
It gets to. And
but he was like cut. Like he was... Like I remember the album cover. Yeah. Dude, yeah. But that... So the group of guys... Well, actually not guys. The group of people, excuse me, that worked on those records, the Soulquarians. Are you familiar with that?
No.
So
go on.
Let's see. So there was like Amir Thompson from The Roots, Questlove.
Oh yeah.
Pino Palladino, who plays bass for John Mayer now.
That's a fucking hell of a name.
Yeah, dude, as a bass player, yeah, you got to get into some Pino Palladino. But he played on that D'Angelo record a little bit. A lot of the instruments are actually just D'Angelo, but there were several. I wish I could remember what they all were, but there's several different albums that group collaborated on at Electric Lady in New York.
Okay.
So I'm trying to remember. There was an Erykah Badu record. There's a Common record called Water for Chocolate, I think it's called, an older Common album.
Okay.
I wish I could remember. I think the Erykah Badu album is... I wish I could remember which one it is. But anyway, there's like 4 or 5 albums that all those people that worked on that D'Angelo record worked on together. Yeah. And all of them are just bangers, like across the board. There's so much good, so many good grooves and like drum sounds and stuff.
I liked when I was about to say I liked when Prince died. No, I was going to say I liked whenever Prince died, D'Angelo played Sometimes It Snows in April.
I've not heard that song. Yeah, I know the song.
He played it on Jimmy Kimmel.
Okay. Dude, yeah, he's
great.
fantastic. If you look at that, I was looking at like I go down a rabbit hole of Wikipedia pages a lot. That's like a thing I do a lot, where it's just like,
Wow.
it's not a hot take at all, but I'll just be like,
I didn't know I was inviting a deviant on the show, one that goes down multiple Wikipedia articles.
so like the D'Angelo thing was the whole Soulquarians thing came from, I was reading something Questlove said on Instagram about that, and went back and started reading about Electric Lady, where that came from, and then I ended up on like Jimi Hendrix Wikipedia page, and like I'll be like, oh, this guy played with Hendrix for a couple years. What was he doing after that? His Wikipedia page doesn't even have a picture. What was going on with him? Like something crazy was going on with that guy. Yeah, he didn't live very long.
You didn't need to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I don't remember why we started talking about that, but I'll go down the rabbit hole.
D'Angelo.
Exactly. Yeah, I'll go down a rabbit hole of like Electric Lady wiki, and then let's read about, how did Jimi Hendrix die again? Oh yeah, it was a drug overdose. Where was he when that happened? And like I'll just read for 2 or 3 hours about.
Throw up in his mouth, drowned on his own vomit.
That's right.
R.I.P.
That's the way to go if you're gonna do it like that. I mean, it's
so.
a tried and true way to do it. I think if you're gonna OD, like.
Yeah.
It's terrible. It's so terrible.
Tough.
There's like, oh, I remember now why I was going to tell you that. I went down the rabbit hole of D'Angelo's Untitled Wikipedia page, and if you go to like the personnel, where it says who played on what song, on almost every song, it's just like Amir Thompson drums, and then it'll say all other instruments D'Angelo.
Yeah.
All other instruments and vocals and writing.
Well, that's like you. You can, if you look at the liner notes, it's just Brady Turner.
Yeah. I appreciate that comparison.
Well, I'm just saying.
I definitely have always been, Sydney and I were actually talking about this semi-recently, about how even with like hip hop music, I was always into the guys who made their own beats, or like guys who produced for other people, like Kanye early on, and J. Cole, and people who like even like Childish Gambino, some of his stuff, early stuff was like really rudimentary, and I thought it was really cool that he was like clearly learned how to use Ableton and wanted to like make his own beats and stuff like that. And I was always into that as a premise, and then later on getting into other genres, it was kind of natural for me to fall into people who were doing that, you know, people who were recording their own drums and stuff like that. And that's really been the thing I've tried to stretch myself with the most working on new music, is how to delegate some things to other people. And like, cause with this new project I'm working on, I do actually want to have other people play a lot of things. Right. Because there's like this other side to, so making everything yourself is really fun, cause it's like, it's all you, and that's really cool. But then the times that I have collaborated people, like with my brother Brad from Osla, and I've done stuff with Henry as well. And anytime that I've ever collaborated with somebody like that does stuff that I like, it's always like the sum of its parts are always something greater, you know. And it's really cool to create something that otherwise I wouldn't have been able to if I would have tracked everything myself. Like technically I might be able to do it, but it just wouldn't at all be the same thing. So with this new record, I have actually like sought out a studio space in Knoxville, and like a producer that I respect, and some personnel that are going to play on the record and stuff like that, and try to make it a little bit more collaborative this time. But I definitely am still about doing the DIY thing. Like I definitely see myself doing more stuff at home too. But this is just something I've wanted to do for a really long time, to go into a studio and like really kind of give certain things to other people and just let them run with it, you know?
So is this going to be you, Brady Turner?
Yeah.
Or is, okay. Mm-hmm. Is this going to be another EP or a full length?
So first,
if you want to talk about it.
I can for sure. Not everything is squared away yet, but what it looks like is going to happen is, so for sure on December 1st, I've got a Christmas single coming out, which will be 2 songs. My covers of I'll Be Home for Christmas and Oh Holy Night. And after that, I'll just be skate through the holidays, and then January I'll be working on a new record. I think we're going to put out a single, hopefully like February, March-ish.
Yeah.
especially if I can get everybody together. But the way it's going to work is I think we'll probably track the one thing, and then once we kind of have the setup figured out, we'll set up a time to track a lot more stuff. Because I think what we're going to do is track like the bones of it with like a live band, and then do some overdubs and stuff after that. Like maybe track like the rhythm guitars and the bass and the drums and stuff like that in a live setting, and then go back and fill in everything.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
Wow. Yes.
But that's where I recorded. I don't think I said this. That's where I recorded the Christmas music that I'm putting out.
Okay.
It's a Sequoia Studios in Knoxville.
Nice.
And I don't think I've said this yet either, but I'm moving there in January.
Wow.
So I'm glad that we got to do this.
Exclusive.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Right under the wire. Yeah.
But you just put out 2 Christmas covers, right?
Yeah. Last year in December, I did This Christmas and Hark the Herald Angels Sing. But it's just Hark with an exclamation point. That was actually Brad's idea.
Was that a Lighthouse reference?
No, but I don't even. Was that? Did that come out in 2019?
Hark!
Yeah. Hark! That's such a good.
That's what that was.
No, but
I
I'll
was like,
dude,
damn, that's
it is
good.
now. We're cutting this out of the episode. That's what it is now. That's a great.
Okay, we'll start. We'll start right now. Okay, so you made that really smart and poignant reference to Lighthouse.
That Willem Dafoe scene just spoke right to me.
Hark! Your next EP. Your rotten farts.
Yeah, your farts. There's all the things that I can think of from that movie are so grotesque. Like,
You're right.
What was that? I saw you sparring with that gull. Bad luck to kill a seabird.
So great.
I say that all the time playing video games with friends. Bad luck to kill a seabird. That scene where he's just swinging the bird against the rock.
Spoilers.
So, yeah. Sorry, everybody. That bird is
and any of you
character
uncultured swine that haven't seen The Lighthouse yet.
That's an insane movie. Like,
great. Yeah,
it's awesome. Those 2 guys. I think that's maybe the most I've ever respected Robert Pattinson. Is like, so good.
Yeah, he did that Sadif Brothers movie, Good Time.
What is it? I've not seen that.
You know, Uncut Gems?
Yeah.
Okay, the brothers who made that, they made a movie called Good Time.
Okay.
And it's got Robert Pattinson.
He's good in that.
He's great.
Nice.
Similar, where the entire movie is just stress.
Yeah.
Like a stress exercise.
Yeah.
Like Uncut Gems.
Yeah. I've never seen Uncut Gems, actually. This is like the 3rd time
We're
I've
about
had to
to
admit
end
that
this.
recently. Yeah.
You gotta go watch it right now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
It's like one of your favorite things?
It's great. Yeah. I love A24 movies.
Okay.
The Lighthouse.
Yeah.
Uncut Gems. The Witch. Hereditary.
The Witch has that crazy music, right? The Witch is the one that people use for memes and stuff. The singing, the creepy singing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the Kenneth Copeland thing. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in Old English.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was actually, speaking of Wikipedia pages, I'm pretty sure I read a synopsis of the plot of that movie on Wikipedia like 2 nights ago.
Yeah.
So that's really creepy. Let's see. What I remember is that, isn't it like puritanical, like a family ends up exiled from their like religious compound type thing, and the daughter is a witch, like ish.
Yeah.
I think that's probably revealed in the because it's in the title
story goes on,
of the movie. Yeah,
the witch.
But yeah, I've heard that's good.
Yes,
I've heard
can
that
confirm.
Maybe like a good movie, but not very scary. What do you think? Is it scary?
There's like a couple scary parts.
Okay.
Depends on what scares you.
I don't like. So I love scary movies. I don't like jump scares.
No, it's cheap.
Yeah, like I actually really like the It reboot, the first one, the like 2016 reboot. And the only reason I thought of that is my least favorite part of that movie is like the one jump scare in it where Beverly's like in the bathroom. She turns and he's there, like he's just standing there. Like the whole sting is that there's just music and it cuts to it. You know, there's nothing about it that's inherently, there's no tension in the movie at that point or anything.
No.
So I kind of hate that as a video game mechanic as well, because I'm a big video game person. I know you are as well.
I do enjoy it.
Do you play?
Played one or two.
Do you play a lot of scary games?
I like to.
Or like so when you were so like older games, did you play like the Silent Hill, anything in that?
Yeah.
Like the wall, camera stuck to a wall, like Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Fatal Frame.
Yeah.
I love stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like I feel like those games are more atmospheric than like a is this better? Than just like a game where stuff just jumps out at you. Like I recently played a demo or actually I downloaded on Game Pass, the Blair Witch game.
Yes, I've heard of it.
I thought it was trash because it was just like the whole point of it is you're walking around the woods and then and so that's the whole game. Like, something screams and runs at you.
The witch pops out.
Exactly.
Wow. We've been all over the place
here. Yeah.
So outside of making your own music, you also play a lot.
Yeah.
With what's the guy you play with?
Jamel Richardson.
Yes. And I went and saw y'all one time before COVID, obviously.
Yeah.
And
one time after, just to see
one time after
what it would be like. We haven't played.
Shredfest. Is that fair to say?
Oh yeah, the show, his show. Yes. He's out of control.
Yeah.
He's so much fun to play with. And I think I was talking to somebody about this recently, my friend Trevoris, who we were talking about how I got involved in the band. He plays organ for Jamel.
Oh, okay.
And he's known Mel for like, I guess 10 years or something like that. Yeah. So they've played together a lot. And he and I got hooked up playing on a wedding gig with a friend of ours named Mario Parrish, who's just a phenomenal singer guy who puts together bands for weddings and parties and stuff like that. He's just an incredible singer who puts together cover bands and stuff. And Trevoris was playing for him, and he randomly invited me. We hadn't known each other super long time, and we got along, but we mostly just played at shows. I'd never hung out with him. And he invited Sydney and I to his birthday to come and hang out, and there were some guys playing music and stuff. So we just went and sat down, and I actually didn't take a guitar or anything. I just was like the goofy white guy, like watching everybody else play.
Yeah.
But I was glad to be invited, and Jamel popped in to his birthday, and he was like, "Hey, this is the guy that played on this gig with Mario," and apparently they had been talking about bringing in a rhythm guitar player at this point. So Jamel was just like, "Yeah, when can you come play at my house?" So I went over to his house in Grand Bay and just had to he's like, "Okay, well, this is how you play the song. Can you play it now?" That was like the audition process.
Yeah.
Like, do you know my song? I'm trying to think of he has this song called Sarah Pearl that has like this riff that is kind of integral to the song. He's like, "Can you play this?" And he just like starts playing it. All right, do you see what happens when I do this? All right, good, you do it. And that's basically the whole process. Like, if I could see him play it and I could play it back to him, that was all he needed, I guess. Yeah. And it just ended up working out. Like, it was kind of nerve-wracking at first because I've never seen him. I had not really seen him in a live context outside of playing for other people. Back in the day when I was playing with Regenerates live, doing hip hop shows, he was put together a backing band for some local rappers. These guys, Beeman and Timmy. Yeah. And they had like a live band that Jamel was kind of the music director of. So that was the only context that I knew him in. And so I kind of had to learn like all of his discography. He has like a handful of albums, so I had to go through and
all original albums.
Yeah, wow. a lot of originals. And he does a lot of originals. Right. For somebody doing those types of shows, like even when we do the more quote unquote gig shows where we're at music places like Floribama and stuff like that, he does a lot of his originals, which is something that you don't really see a lot of bands like that do. Like,
Right.
if you go somewhere like that, they're usually going to be playing
They
like
want to hear
classic
Dock
rock.
of the Bay,
Exactly. Yeah. And
Wagon Wheel.
it's really fun to watch him win people over with his original stuff, because I have seen him like during a show, like some drunk person being like, play Little Wing or something, like a Jimi Hendrix song, and he'll be like, we're gonna do Hey Joe later in the set, like it'll kind of rush him off, and they'll play Little Wing, and he's like, here, I'm gonna play you a Jamel Richardson song, see if you like this. And like he always wants to win people like that over with like his own music, and I think that's pretty fun.
That's cool. It's
fun to watch him do that to like, people will be demanding some cover song, and he's like, no, you're going to listen to this and you're going to enjoy it. Like, I'm going to play this guitar solo over this song you don't know, and you're going to love it.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's really fun. That's probably the biggest bummer about moving, is just like not being able to play with those guys as frequently, and a lot of the people that I play with down here, because I feel like this past year or two is when I finally got connected with like-minded other musicians that weren't related to me.
Right.
Because like I've always had my brothers to play with, so I never was really able to like branch out into, and I didn't really feel like I understood what people were doing here with their music and stuff. And so it's going to be interesting to try to find that in Knoxville. I definitely have some people up there that are doing cool stuff, but it's going to be a whole different thing, just especially post COVID and everything, like going to a new place and being like, hey, I'm here, even though there's not really shows happening right now, but I'm like based out of here.
Right. Well, I think just to blow smoke up your ass for a second,
Go ahead.
Yeah, please, my asshole is ready to receive.
That's why I'm here.
That's I think your talent, if I was up there, I'm not very good, if I was up there, I can play punk songs on bass, but you can do everything, So I think your talent cuts through all the bullshit.
Thanks, man.
Where it's me, I'm all bullshit. I just have to trick people.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not true. I appreciate that. There are definitely avenues up there once I get there, but it's just kind of there's this negative space between officially deciding to move and once I get there being able to actually do things. Like there's this, I know I'm going to move, but I can't like move into the place right now. I've got commitments here until January.
Yeah.
And really we're not going to be able to move in until a couple weeks before we're officially there. So there's all this time I'm kind of like in lame duck mode, like the president, like I don't have very much time left to really start any new projects here down here. You know what I mean? But I'm not just like, all right, guys, I'm out. I'm not like I'm still saying bye to people and hanging out with friends and stuff.
Right. Yeah. Wow. Trying to think.
So here's a question from me to you.
Wow.
Where did the name come from? The podcast.
You had options?
Yeah.
I don't know. I was trying to think of like catchy sounding names.
It sounds very catchy. That's why I asked.
Oh, thank you. Apparently.
And it sounds like a premise. Like, I don't know if you meant for it to, but it definitely.
I tried to think of a.
I was a little scared. Like I brought my wife today. We talked about that, right? I've pointed to her. She's over there. But I was like, what if I get here and you had options is like some sort of sexual thing? Like
it can be if you want, man.
Like, I want it to be, but I just thought, I was thinking today or yesterday, like I'm going to do this podcast. I haven't exchanged 2 words with Michael about what we're going to talk about.
Right.
What if we get there and he's like, so you're with Sydney, you're married, but like you had options. What were your options?
I bring out a line of women from my room.
She would probably actually think that was amazing if this turned out to be like a game show.
Yeah.
Contestant number 1, like they're behind this. People can't see, but there's another room. They're just walking in from. Okay. Well, we're gonna punch it up. We're gonna figure out what this show needs, and we're gonna. This is just a test.
I tried to think of, because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just going for it.
That's my favorite. I love podcasting so much. I think it's such a cool thing because it's probably one of the most personal. In a way, it's like extremely difficult to quantify what it even is or what it takes to do it, because there's so many different versions of it. And some podcasts, like I listen to the Doughboys a lot, and that's like you've got one guy who's very like regimented and has like the show has segments and there's like stings with music and stuff. And then you've got some people who like their podcast is they do a live stream on YouTube and like the audio goes up later and they still have like thousands of people listening and they don't put any effort into the post-production. So it's really cool how it can be so many different things. Like this feels a lot, not to underplay what I thought you could pull off, because I believe in you 100%. I was not expecting it to be so fancy.
You're expecting box lights.
It's very fancy. It feels like this is going to really be something.
Thanks, man. You're on set.
I think, I think people are going to like this.
I don't think we said that you're kind enough and generous enough to do the intro song.
Yeah, no, we didn't.
And the outro song.
Yeah, coincidentally the same song.
Yeah, I was surprised.
He asked for two different songs. No, that was really fun. That was cool, and it caught me off guard, and it was weirdly it's actually cool that you brought that up, because that was a funny time for you to ask me to do that. Like I, kind of in the same vein of what we were talking about moving, I was just a little bit disillusioned with like, okay, when I get up there, like I know I'm going to have this much money coming in. I know I'm going to be doing this, and I know that these are my goals musically, but like my freelance work as it stands for the last several years has been things that I need to be here to do. And so the last year or so I've been getting more into like the remote recording and remote session work and stuff like that, sending people guitars and they do what they want to with them and stuff like that. And I had just found out about a collaboration. It was like I was really worried about all these things leading up to you asking me to do this, and a friend of mine texted me the same day and found out there was this project that he wanted me to work on that got the green light. And so I was like, cool, I'm going to have this freelance work kind of somewhat consistently when I move, and that's going to be great. And you texted me around the same time like, hey, I want you to do the theme song for my podcast. And I was like, oh, what a perfect thing for this, like what I'm trying to do right now, which is like branch out into these different things. It was really cool to get to do that right now, because it feels a little bit like a new era of
a new Brady era.
This you heard it here first. No, but for real, doing the theme really opened some doors in my mind as far as like what I have options to do.
Shit, I'm changing lives. That was my main goal. Sydney actually, I didn't want to tell you this. Sydney texted me, your wife, and she was like, hey,
he's in the dumps.
You got to ask him to do, I know you got this podcast. You got to ask him to do the song for it. And I was like, Sydney, I'm not going to ask him. Stop texting me.
She's like, he's underperforming sexually.
Oh, God. I didn't say it. He's
sadder than ever before. And he's mentioned your podcast like 5 different times. We talked about this. I feel like, is this the same podcast inception? I feel like we talked about a little while back about you. Like, is it just kind of something that's floated around?
It's always been in my brain.
That's awesome.
Because the Handsome Scoundrel is my band.
Yes.
Which you know.
Yes. And I'm a subscriber of the pod. I love it.
We have a podcast.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I don't know, COVID. I need another creative outlet.
Yeah.
And podcasting is like what I know how to do. Mm-hmm. And I know how to, this is, we're going to start doing a video podcast for the other one as well. Scoundrels Be Talking.
Sweet.
But this was kind of trying to figure out,
Yeah.
It's an experiment for me with the video.
Yeah, I love it. Stuff. That's awesome. I feel like I had a question about that, but now it's gone.
Okay.
But I think this is super fun. I think it's cool that it's so like I feel like you've struck the perfect balance between DIY and it looks really official in here. It looks good.
Thank you. Yeah, this is I don't like doing things half-assed.
Yeah. Well, what I meant by that was like I just expected, my real expectations were for us to sit across from each other at like a table and just
A rickety folding
yeah,
table.
yeah, you know, like
Right.
like a lot of people's first podcast would probably
Right.
be. So to see like the float shock mount and everything and the lights.
That's right, Daddy.
It's pretty sick. It's pretty
Thanks.
cool.
Yeah.
Are you still doing the live stream thing, like playing games and stuff?
I'm going to again. I'm going to get, if anybody at Xbox is listening, please send me an Xbox Series X.
While you're at it, yeah, me too.
Send Brady one as well. He'll write the new Xbox song.
I would write the Xbox theme for no less than a new Xbox. That's
What if they held an Xbox gun to your head right now? What would you come up with as
Like,
the theme
as the
for
theme?
Xbox? Just off the top of the dome,
It
right now.
would be your theme song, and I would change the lyrics.
You had Xbox.
yeah, yeah, that would be it, and I would cash in because they didn't say that they have to use it.
Right.
They just because it's their fault that this was a verbal contract. They chose to hold the Xbox gun to my head.
The music business is dirty.
It is,
friend. But yeah, I knew. I was like, so going back to wanting to have a good production for this, I was like, well, shit, I want like a theme song. So who do I know who's gonna be good? And you know,
you asked Osla, they said no.
I asked Osla, they said no. I asked Robert, he said no.
Discount your own band said no.
I asked Bailey, he said no. I asked my parents, hey, will you just record like a voice memo and that'll be the intro? They said no. And I was like, all right.
All I want is for you to tell me you love me. It doesn't even have to be a theme song. And they said no.
Right. And but no, I was like, I'm just gonna, because I'm not, you know, I'm not a crazy musician. I was like, just say the end, the title and the lyrics, and boom,
dude. All my favorite podcasts.
Magic.
Well, actually, I guess a lot of them are instrumental, but the Doughboys have a great theme song, and it's just the podcast name, so you can't go wrong.
Right. I feel lucky, and I don't want to throw around the B word, but I feel blessed.
Wow.
I said it. To have talented friends who I can hit up and be like, hey.
Dude, yeah. Absolutely. Like we talked about earlier, like I made the joke about how I never reached out to other people because I always had a backing band in my family. Like that, having my brothers, not just musically, but just media-wise and everything, like their talents have been so invaluable.
Right.
With Bailey, I mean, you know, I know he's done a lot of stuff for the Scoundrels and stuff, graphic design and stuff, and he's taken a lot of photos, and I mean, it's crazy having this like media conglomerate of like Bradley does amazing photos and animation, and Kat, his girlfriend Kat's an incredible illustrator. Bailey's a great artist and illustrator and plays drums, and Brad plays everything.
Right.
And so whenever I started working on doing kind of the solo thing, because Bradley and I had really released under my own name was like church music. Previously, Bradley and I had written songs together, and he had written songs for our church and stuff, and so we just recorded them and put them out for people. Not really anything that official, just like people to be able to listen to from the church and stuff. And they were really, Bradley and Bailey were the first people to be super supportive in me trying to do like my music and my sound and stuff. And early on, it would just be like, I would send them a demo and be like, hey, this is just an instrumental. I don't know what this is going to be. And they'd be like, this sounds really cool. You should do something with this.
I know that feeling. You use all these qualifiers like, hey, this is just a rough
Exactly.
demo.
I was sick that day.
So if it sounds like shit,
I borrowed a microphone. I need a new cable. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And a lot of I also am super sensitive to that when my friends do that. Like I'll call out a friend and be like, dude, like it's great. Don't worry about it. But I will absolutely do that if I'm sending like, this is the unmastered version. It's not been mastered yet.
The levels are not right.
Yeah, exactly. So. Like the vocals get a little hot around 2 minutes in. That's going to come down.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely am guilty of that. That's something I think it might be like a really good thing in life to get rid of that. Like, to some extent, I definitely think there's a reason why it works for people. The
imposter syndrome.
Yeah, and I get why like people can relate to that, and a lot of people use those qualifiers and stuff.
Right.
But not having to apologize so much, like pre-apologize, actually, I think is a good thing.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, you can definitely. It's a fine line.
Yeah, you definitely need to know how to do that.
Right.
Because there's people who don't have that at all, and they're completely unapologetically like
terrible.
Yeah, dicks. But there also are people that, like myself, sometimes who go too far the other way.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
Like,
if you could. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
To where people have to be like, "Hey, I already told you it's
down,
okay.
Bro.
Like we're good."
I only say that because I'm the same way. Where it's. Oh, I'm so sorry if I'm bothering you with the,
yeah. Absolutely. Qualifying statements, definitely, especially in regards to music stuff or like meeting deadlines and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, it's just I think creative people are that way because it's precious. Whatever you're making is precious, to you, to the person.
Yeah,
or it should be at least.
Right, generally.
If you're like, if you sent me the song for the intro and you're like, fuck, I don't know.
Like when I sent you.
Here's what I did.
Like I just hit record and like.
Right, just fucking free your mind and your ass will follow. That's what happened. I
mean, that's pretty indicative of like what I did when I made the thing. No, I'm just kidding. That actually did happen really fast though, because I remember you.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
you messaged me and asked me to do it, and I was like, oh, I was a little bit of a rush of like, I'll get stressed out by one new thing to do on my list.
I got you. Yeah.
Sydney knows that.
Same.
I can have 3 things to do in like an 8-hour span, and if you're like, hey, while you're at the post office, can you just pop next door and do this thing? My brain just goes on overload. Like, oh my god, there's never going to be a minute to myself ever
Sydney,
again.
You wanted me to pick up a 2-liter of Diet Coke?
Exactly.
Are you insane?
Like, do you have any idea what I've done? I've done 2 things today already. But yeah, like I absolutely when I knew that I needed to do the theme, my first reaction was to be like, oh god, when am I going to figure out what is the idea going to be? When am I even going to have time to think about it? I need to because I immediately started thinking like, I need to sit down, I need to go over a couple different ideas, I need to decide on one, then like move forward with it. But very quickly after that, like I think I told you, like, give me a week or 2 or something like that. Yeah. And like the next day or something like that, I just was playing around on my guitar like I do pretty much every day, like just doing warm-ups and stuff. Right. And I started playing that little riff thing, and I was like, I'm just going to go ahead and send this over to Michael. And it happened pretty quickly after that, I think.
Yeah, I knew you were going to do it. But I was like, shit, man, he just turned this around. Like a fucking,
thanks. That's like
it was no thing.
If I can, I do take a lot of pride in that. I love when I have the opportunity to turn something around quickly, but still do what I want to with it, because that definitely is something that I can be guilty of and have it go wrong, where I'm like, I just want to do something, like, I want to be the guy that you asked for this thing, and I turn around and send it back. But that can definitely backfire too. Yeah. But yeah, I'm really glad that I got to do it. Thanks for asking me to do it.
Of course, man. It turned out great. It was it's one of those moments where I heard it and I was like, oh, let's go.
Oh, man. Thanks.
Doing the LeBron, kicking my knees up through my hands.
Man, that's so cool. I'm glad. I hope people like it. I hope that they enjoy it.
I think they will.
I hope that it's one of those podcast themes that gets stuck in people's head, and it's not like... there's a couple podcasts I listen to where when it's time for the theme, you're like, oh, no.
Well, this one's only like 30 seconds long.
Yeah, I tried to keep it short.
Yeah.
That's another thing that drives me crazy. If a podcast has like a 1.5 minute long or 2 minute long theme, it's too much.
Yeah.
I'm skipping that every time.
Yeah. I foresee this podcast exploding, and we're doing live shows, and you're going to be there with a full band.
Oh yeah, doing the theme.
Yeah, doing the theme. And
so you're gonna fly me out.
I'll fly you out to Mobile.
Fly
when we're doing the Sanger.
You're gonna fly me to Mobile. We're gonna get on a tour bus and drive to Knoxville, do a show there. And all of this is just so I can play just the theme,
right?
The 30-second version, even. Yeah. Not even like an extended version.
Flying Questlove. I don't know.
I think. So I have a friend that got to play on a session with Pino Palladino and Steve Jordan, who plays drums for John Mayer now, but he's played for a ton of people. And he's a big record producer. I think if I could play on a session with Questlove, even if it was like just completely like no one's ever even going to hear it, I would be like, I could die. I'll be happy. That's sick. One of those people where not even just to be able to say it's not even about the cred. I don't even have to be able to tell people, just that I get to know that it happened. Right. I have a few people like that if I could just go into a studio and work with them, even if I wasn't allowed to tell people, I would be fine with that.
Who's somebody else?
Probably Pino Palladino, because he's just those two guys, especially those guys together. Because I didn't even know until maybe this past, like in the last 4 or 5 months, that they ever really worked together. And I've heard their influences on different people's records. So to take like that bass sound that I know and those drums that are like iconic and put them together would be really cool.
Do you know the Erykah Badu song Window Seat?
I don't know that song.
Hot song.
Do you know what record it's from?
No.
I wonder if it's from one of theirs.
One of the more recent ones.
Oh, okay. Okay, so probably not. I've had to play a couple of her songs on gigs in the last couple of years. It's really fun. We did
Tyrone.
Better call Jerome. Shit. I think you better call Jerome.
Tyrone.
Call him. Oh man, that's funny.
No, call Jerome. That's a B-side.
Canceled.
Deep cut. Fuck.
Cancel instantly.
Me. Cancel me, please. I don't want to do this shit anymore.
It's a good one. You're already fed up with the podcast. I
just want to be a broker or something where I don't have to do anything.
You don't have to deal with all this stress of being a DIY podcast host. Yeah, the guys on Wall Street never seem to have to worry about stress.
They're just trying to figure out where their next Coke hit is. Dude.
Isn't that what we're all doing? Like,
shit. Damn it.
What are we doing after this?
I'm sure there's a Wall Street somewhere in Mobile.
Dude, oh yeah, no kidding. I think I've probably played near it a few times.
Yeah.
I was playing let's talk about cocaine. Recently I was playing at a show in Auburn with Jamel pre-COVID, and there were these frat guys. Like, we went back to change in the green room, and there were just all these Auburn bros snorting lines.
Blasting coke?
Yeah, like right next to our clothes and stuff. They're like,
yeah.
Hey, dude, you want a bump? I was like, I'm good. I had one.
Good,
like,
man, I just had one.
I'm
bumped up.
Yeah, I'm had 3 already. Thanks.
Had 3 full bumps.
But yeah, it's clearly easy to come by. It definitely seems like generally like a grody rich white guy kind of thing.
I think so. Yeah.
But to each his own.
To each his own, man. We're all just trying to make it through.
Especially during these trying times.
Times. If you need a bump to get you through.
That's basically all we came here to say.
That's on you.
If you need something a little extra, just go for it.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, I feel like I need a list of movies to watch before I come back and do your podcast again.
Why?
Because I have a couple that I was a little embarrassed that I haven't seen yet.
Oh, shit. Yeah. I did roast you.
Need to get you to make me a must watch.
I can do that.
List.
Yeah.
We've actually been looking for some new shows to watch. I'm kind of, speaking of options, I think there is a little bit like option paralysis for me right now when it comes to new shows. Because we're all the way through like everything we could think of pretty much that we've watched as a couple. And so now you have do we watch one of the millions of shows that we know we like, again?
Right.
Or do we try to watch one of these billions of like Netflix originals or whatever?
Yeah.
Every time I talk to somebody, it's like, have you seen XYZ?
Flip Flop?
Have you seen this? It's a Hulu original. I'm like, I didn't even know that was a thing. Yeah, sure.
Flip Flop is new on Hulu. There's 14 seasons. You guys watch? This is a common thing. You guys watch shows as a couple where you guys?
Oh,
are like,
yeah.
Don't watch the next episode.
Yes. Well, actually, we definitely say that to each other.
But then you guys go behind each other's backs.
Oh, yeah.
Ruin the sanctity of marriage.
And
you will watch the next episode of True Blood.
It's kind of like I'm really bad about not wanting to do it. It kind of goes back to the thing I was talking about feeling like if I have an extra thing to do that it's like going to make my brain freak out. If I have anything on my brain that I have to do at all that night, if Sydney's like, hey, we should watch this, I'll just be like, I don't really want to commit to like an hour and a half of...
I can't commit.
Yeah.
What are you going to be doing otherwise?
Probably nothing. Probably nothing at all.
I can't commit.
It's 100% anxiety driven, but it's just like... I'll especially with movies, I'm like, do you just want to watch an episode of something? And then we'll go to look at what to watch, and then we end up in this rabbit hole.
Yeah. Feel that.
I've got some comedies that we're probably going to get into because Sydney's not seen a bunch of movies that we need to watch. She's never watched The Three Amigos.
Classic.
Which is kind of wild that she's never seen that. So I wonder how it holds up, though. I haven't watched it in like a super long time. Like, I think of all the things we quoted growing up, all the like the Invisible Man and like the Tequila and stuff like that. But like, I wonder if I would really think it's that funny if I watch it now.
Yeah.
Sometimes those movies, like, you just forget how much like cringy stuff or like things that just really didn't age well.
Yeah.
You know?
Not PC.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, totally. Like things that you're just like,
oh boy.
Yeah. Occasionally.
I mean,
but yeah, I need to find some. There's a couple. I was trying to think. I know Three Amigos she hasn't seen. There was something else that was like a standard that she hadn't seen. But I love stupid comedies so much, like The Dumbest, like all the Adam McKay, Will Ferrell stuff. Like I'm all about the dumbest of the dumb, funny movie, like Step Brothers types. Probably when it comes to comedy, I probably have a more like middle of the road taste in movies, like the stuff everybody's kind of seen, like Hot Rod.
Yeah.
Superbad.
Yeah.
Is great.
Yeah.
That might be my favorite comedy.
Superbad?
Like maybe ever.
It's good, yeah. It's up there for sure.
Well, I was just thinking, Pineapple Express is really good.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about all the movies that we quoted in like middle school and not like.
How old are you?
I'm 23.
23.
Yeah.
Okay. I just turned 24. So.
How old are you actually? You just turned. Did you say 34?
24.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm 30. Okay. I'm 31.
Okay, I knew you were doing a bit. I just couldn't tell what the bit. If the bit was that you were older or younger.
I just turned 64.
Okay.
No.
You have to. Yeah, you have to take a bigger swing then. You said 24. Okay.
Right.
Okay, that's a good enough. Okay.
Yeah.
I just didn't hear you. That was a very good joke. I'm
sorry. Oh, thank you so much. No. Yeah. Whole world of comedy out there, man.
Oh yeah. I just started showing. Well, not just started showing her. Like she'd seen him before, but Sydney and I went back and listened to some old Dave Chappelle, like his first several specials. Killing Him Softly and For What It's Worth.
Yeah.
So good. Like
so good.
He might be my favorite comedian as far as like one of the few that's never really let me down, you know? He always has stayed. I feel like he's kind of timeless in his like position. Like,
yeah, he hasn't wavered
since like 2000. He's been the same guy kind of.
Yeah.
Somehow he's gotten, I feel like he gets away with more too. Like he can kind of say things that coming from him, people know it's a joke. Like somebody else might get canceled for making the same joke.
Yeah. That's comedy, man.
I find that kind of admirable to like, as long as it comes from a real place, to be able to joke about stuff that you're just like, how does he even like, where did his premise start that he thought this would end up funny? Like, cause he was talking about something so dark and crazy or.
Yeah. comedy's weird now. It's tough.
That's something that I, as a kid, I really wanted to do. Was be like a
Comedy?
stand-up comedian, yeah.
Yeah.
But I definitely never had the fortitude because it's just such a hard thing.
It's just you up there.
And it's so... I've talked to a lot of people about how comedy... It's something that always seems so scary because it's so personal if somebody doesn't like you. Like, even though you're probably doing some character, there's not like, if somebody doesn't like you, if somebody comes and sees me and they don't like me, it could be that I played a cover song that they don't like. It could be that they didn't like one of my songs or the premise of it, or maybe it wasn't their style. But if somebody comes and sees you do stand up for 5 minutes and they hate you, it's probably just because they don't like you.
Right. Yeah. And it's, if you bomb, if you tell a joke that doesn't land, you just have to go into another joke, like you're
with
saying
the
about
dead air of
right, yeah. But like as you were saying earlier, with like the banter in between songs, you could say something that gets zero response. 1, 2, 3. But then you go in the next.
Yeah,
song,
exactly.
All right, turn around, boys.
Exactly.
Right.
And also, there's something about, because I'm sure that Brad and Henry could attest to this, but like I definitely said stuff that didn't land on tour. But then you can just be like, whoa, that wasn't funny. And like, that's enough to recover. Right. When you're a musician, you don't have to like do crowd work to win people back. You don't have to be like, how long have you guys been together?
Are you guys from here?
Yeah.
Where are you from?
Oh, you are? I'm not. That's right. I'm not from here. Sorry.
From here. Yeah,
Never mind.
Right. Yeah. I've never had that instance on stage in between songs because I've just said stuff that just kills.
Every time it's just a standing O.
It's like, I'm like,
the hardest thing for you guys is that after you're done with the jokes, you have to go back into the music.
Right. And we have to be like, you got to, it's like, when the Beatles were playing like Shea Stadium where like,
or like Ed Sullivan
can't hear the music. You can't hear the music because everybody's
Did you ever watch Hard Day's Night?
Yeah.
Dude, I remember I was like quite a bit older when I was probably like 12 or 13, I think, when I saw that. And I think that was the first time I realized how big the Beatles were. Yeah. I don't know what I thought, but I guess I just thought they were more of a normal band, and that it was sort of this cult thing where they got bigger later.
No.
And then watching them, it's just like the craziest thing you've ever seen. And also in some ways, I feel like people were more famous back then because the music and television worlds weren't like this giant thing.
Right.
I feel like it was like the fewer networks, everybody's kind of watching like cable television.
Right.
So if this band is on this one of 3 networks or whatever, like everyone in the country is going to watch it.
Right.
So I feel like the exposure was like something a lot more, I don't know, it was a lot bigger of a deal maybe to be on TV back then than it is now.
Yeah, for sure. Like,
for instance, like I was on American Idol for 30 or 45 seconds or something. And if I was in 2007 or something, it might have been like a career high for me so far or something.
Right.
If my audition had been on like when Simon Cowell was still on, but now they have like a 10th of what their audience was then. Because just television's just different. So that's kind of a crazy thing to think. Like there was a time when American Idol had I don't know, 20 million or 30 million viewers or something like that.
Yeah.
Now I don't think there's anything that everybody watches like that. Like there's not really a single show or news or broadcast that like everyone in America is going to get on and watch it at the same time.
Yeah. Well, there's so many different channels of media.
Yeah. And now like some people like me in Sydney, we don't have cable at all. And I think a lot of younger people are kind of going that route of like, if I can stream, because I don't watch sports, but like if I was a sports person, I could still do that. Like I can stream sports, I can watch the news. So I'm kind of off of cable indefinitely.
Right.
And I'm interested to see like what that does in the future with television and stuff, because it seems like it's definitely going away in some kind of the way that like radio has taken a backseat. It seems like television is like no longer, like it seems like back in the day, if you were a musician or a comedian or whatever, getting on TV and being on like late night or being on like Saturday Night Live or like that was kind of the end all be all. Right. And now I don't think that's really the case.
No.
Obviously all those things would still be crazy, I'm sure, like if they happen to me now, but
right.
Saturday Night Live calls and asks me to come play, I'm still gonna be stoked. Yeah. We'll see.
Ben Crowder.
That would be
With musical guest Brady Turner.
It's like the worst host they've ever had, though.
Yes.
President Donald Trump. I'd be like, I have to do this.
You got to, man.
I'm gonna do it.
It's your only shot. No, man, we've done an hour.
Wow. That's how good you are at this. I didn't even realize. Covered everything there is to cover.
Yeah. Okay. So what's next for Brady?
So, did I mention we have a baby on the way?
We don't.
me and Michael have a baby on the way. Yeah. No. Sydney is pregnant, and we are.
Congratulations!
Thanks, man. We're due in May 2021. So that's kind of what's next. I'm going to be working on an album.
And the fact that you're naming the baby after me, I was just
it's Michael
floored.
McAuliffe, not even my last
Turner.
name. Not Turner.
Oh, just
Michael McAuliffe.
Wow, it meant so much to me.
Yeah, we actually just found out it's a girl.
That the name's even weirder.
Yeah. Her name's going to be Lorraine. But
really?
Yeah, after my mom. Yeah, we're so excited. It was not completely unexpected, but just it kind of ended up being perfect timing with the move, and we're gonna have like a couple months to get established and everything. Yeah. So yeah, that's what's next. An album and a baby.
Album and a baby. Bam, bam, bam. Wow. Well, we're all excited. Everybody in this room.
Cue guitar solo.
Yep. Yeah. Plug your
I'll
plug
BradyTurnerMusic.com, at Brady Turner Music on Instagram, Brady H Turner Music on Facebook, or Facebook.com/Brady H Turner Music. I've got an EP called We Made It, an album called Overthrown, and a Christmas EP coming out called Home for Xmas.
Love it. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks, Michael.
You had options, Brady. Well, you decided to talk to me tonight. Thank you.